Hello and how are you? My name is Mahino Bark and I welcome you to another lecture of mastering Flutter user interfaces. In today's lecture, we are going to look at grid user interfaces, and also, if time allows, we'll go ahead and look at lists user interfaces. So without wasting much time, let's go straight into our today's business and look at this thing that we're going to learn today. So I've already opened the project that we always use to work with. I'm going to add another section called grid. So I'll come to our main route, and then I'm going to duplicate this one, and put grid. And then we're going to put the grid basics. Okay. Okay, so we're going to create a screen where someone clicks there. We take them to the grid basic screen. So let's first create a new category, a new directory for grid, and inside here we're going to put a new file that we're going to call grid underscore basics.dat. Okay, then let's go ahead and create stateful widget and put grid screen. You go ahead and import everything. Alright, so after doing that, we're going to add this on the main screen so someone can be able to do what? To click there, and then we take them to the grid main screen. Good. So now when you click on grid main screen, it should take you there to that screen with a placeholder in it. So now in there, we are going now to start putting the grid content. Okay. So we're going to see how we can do such a grid. Okay, such a grid user interface. Okay, this is what we're going to see how we can do. So we come, the first thing we're going to put scaffold, of course. So return a scaffold. Then after, we go ahead and add the app bar. And in this app bar, we put grid basics. We can put basic grid. Then you have such kind of an app bar. Okay, so in our scaffold, we are now going to put the body. So our body is going to be a grid adapter. So this grid adapter, I already created it, but I'm going to rebuild it together with you, so you can do what? You can be able to understand what is there, what's supposed to be there. Okay, so we have grid adapter. It takes just items and maybe on click listener, and then after we put .get view, so you can be able to do what? To display that grid in our screen. So right now what we're going to do, we're going to see how we can generate such a such kind of an adapter. Okay, so it's an independent class that is going to have the grid logic and the rest, and then for it to be just returning the user interface. Okay, so just like we have models, it is better to have also the logic of lists of user interfaces, I mean of widgets separate, and also the logic of creating something that's going to display things such as the width, and such as the list and the rest. You put it separately. Okay, so we're going to create a class that we're going to call grid adapter, and then that's class that we'll be calling to display any kind of grid that we want. So let's go ahead and create here a separate folder that I'm going to call adapters. So in those adapters, we're going to have different items that will be displaying in there. So the first adapter that we're going to add there is the grid basic adapter. Okay, the grid basic adapter. So I'll just simply come there and say new file. I can call it grid basic adapter.dat. So in there, we're going to put the logic that is just responsible for creating the grid information or the grid adapter. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do there, we are going to create a class called grid adapter, and then we're going to give it different parameters. Okay, the first thing we're going to give it a list of items, and then a list of items. So list of items, it will be now the list of what we want to be displaying. For example, this one will be accepting only strings. Okay, so it's going to be a list of of strings. Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to give it. So the next that we're going to give it, we're going to give it a list of tiles. Okay, item tile. So item tile is nothing but our custom class. Okay, that we're going to create right now. So let's go ahead and create a class called item tile. Okay, so it's kind of our model or our widget that we want to be displaying. So I'm going to come here in bottom here and create a tile. So it is a class called item tile, and then it extends the stateless widget. Okay, so import the stateless widget, just a stateless widget. Then inside this class is going to have an object that's going to be responsible for displaying, and also the index, and also the function that when someone clicks on that item, what action should be done. Okay, so it's going to return, it's going to have now a constant of an item tile that's going to take a key, and then the index, and then the object. Okay, so the index is going to be like a number of that will be the ID of that particular item, and also the on-click listener, like when someone clicks on it, what should be done. So that is a constructor. Like when you're creating this item tile, you must pass these three things. Then after doing that, then you put here on-click listener. So when someone clicks on it, we want to call this on-click listener. So be just calling that item and pass it the index and the object that has been clicked on. Then after, we give down this item the build on build. Okay, the build. So it will take the context and then say we're going to have now stack. So now start building your user interface. Okay, so this user interface is going to just be an image. So it's going to be stack. So in case you want to put something on top of it, it's going to be stack. Okay, and then we say children, and then this children we pass image.asset, and then you pass the object. Since this object is just a string or a location of the image, we just pass the object, and then you give it the height of infinity and width of infinity, and then you say it should be fit, and then say cover, and then you pass here the material, so someone should be able to do what, to when they click they see that kind of a ripple. Okay, and then put the inkwell, and then after putting the inkwell, you put the opacity, and then the splash. Okay, and then after we put the on tap. So when someone clicks on tap, we'll be calling this on click item, and then this on click item, and this on click item we'll be calling what, the on click object, or the function that was passed. Okay, so that's it, and that's it. Then this container, we make it having the width, the child of this material, it's going to be a container that's going to have width of infinity and height of infinity. So by doing like this, you can pause and look at this class. Can look at a bit confusing, but it will make sense once you do it, once you understand. Okay, so this is just a kind of widget that will be displaying per time. Then this is on click item listener. Okay, so after doing that, now with this class is now the adapter that is independent and created separately. Okay, so I want now to be able to do what, to deploy it or to display it. So in order to display it, I want to give it another method called onView. So this onView, getView is the one that is going now to compile this widget and the data that will have passed here. So let's go ahead and create that getView. So this getView is going to be in this main class here on top here. Okay, so this getView, it will just say grid.count. It is going to create a grid with this grid.count is going to be a list of a number of grid item that you want to display. So it's a grid.count, it return grid.count, and then you say scroll direction should be vertical, and then you say cross axis spacing should be 2, and then say main axis spacing should be 2, and then say padding should be all 2, and then you say cross axis count, it should be 3. So this one you just saying maybe this axis should be 3, and then the spacing should be 2 between them. So this spacing that is between them should be having the pixels of 2, and then after you give the children. So the children is going to be a list of this list of items that someone will have passed here. Okay, so that is how you create an independent adapter that will be responsible for displaying the data. Okay, and that is very effective in a way that things will only be built when they are required. So you can pause the video and try to understand this one. So almost all our adapters we're going to be doing, they're going to be looking like these ones. Okay, so after doing the adapter, after creating the adapter, then you're going to see that displaying this item in our in our main scaffold is going to be just clean to implement. All right, let's go ahead and now go to our main scaffold or to our main grid screen, and then it's going to just see, which is just as simple as this. Then you have a complete thing. So we're going to have a body. So here the body is going to be our grid basic adapter. Press Alt and enter, and then you open it, so you'll be like initializing it, and then here you're going to pass the items that it needs here as the first parameter, and then this here we're going to pass the on click method, like when someone clicks on it, what should be shown. Okay, so this on click method, you can create it here, you can create it here within the state widget here. So just simply say on click method, it will take index and the object, which is the string that someone has clicked on, and then maybe when someone clicks on it, you'll be making a toast. So I mean that when someone clicks on this item, you'll be doing what? You'll be making a toast here and show what someone has really clicked on. So maybe you can do other logic, maybe navigating them to another screen, something like that. So let's go ahead and pass. Sorry. So this one's going to be grid dot. Okay, so you pass, and then the second thing we pass the what? The on-click listener, and the third thing, I think that's it, and then you put dot what? Dot get view, like this. All right. So now this first is going to be what? A list of what? A list of strings, or a list of item strings. Okay, so to get the list of items of strings, we are going to use our dummy data that comes with your what? With the Scratch project that I gave you. So I'll just simply come here and I put our list of what? Of items. So it can just be a list of string, and then you pass it here. So I have to create this constructor. I'm using the wrong thing. Be the other side. This one here. So let's create our constructor. I've not created the constructor. So our constructor here is going to be, so you come to this grid and then put what will be receiving. It's going to be grid basic. It should be the same name as this one, and then you say this dot items. So when someone will be calling this one, they must be providing the items, and then you must be also providing the click listener when someone clicks on it. Then you loop through these items, you loop through them, and then say item dot add. Then here you pass the item tile, which is this user interface, and then put index, pass the index that it needs, and then pass the object, which is going to be items, and the string of the string or the image that you want to display, and then pass on click, and then pass this on click listener. So by doing like this, you'll be able to do what? To create this one. So these items, to generate them, we just simply say items.dummy.get nature images. So this one will come with a Scratch project that I gave you. This is nothing but it gives you a list of what? Of nature images that in the Scratch project that I did what? That I gave you. It loops through them, and then after looping through them, it shuffles them and then return back. Okay, so it's just your data that you want to display. So by doing like this, you see, you're able to get something like that. So you can put multiple dummy data. So you can add here after getting the nature images. You can add, so say items dot. So come here to build. Right. Should be here in the build. So every time you build, so you say items dummy.get nature image. So you say add all, then you add all the what? The nature images. You add like multiple nature images. Okay, so here you can get different kind of images that are in the dummy data that I gave you. Okay, so this is just like maybe the data that comes from the API or the data that comes from anywhere, and then you add it there. Then after, you loop and send it to what? To the user interface. So you'll be able to get something like this. You see, when I click, I'm able to know. So you just pause the video and go slowly by slowly, you'll be able to understand. I know it can be kind of confusing for the first time. So we just created this adapter, and that's what you just need to know how to create. However, there are also maybe simpler way that I will show you how you can do this. But this is the hard way and the most effective way, or the cleaner way of doing things. whereby the logic of your items, they are separate in a different adapter, and also your items, the display of your data is separate in a different screen, or in a different layout. Okay, that is how things should be done, though it can look a little bit confusing at this moment. So this dummy are just adding the strings of images in these items, and then here I pass the items, and then I click listener. So when someone click on this, it will be calling this one, and then I just display it here. Okay, so when you do like that and open, see, it will create a nature images and shuffle them. This is just for the user interface, but when we go to now implementing the real data, you'll be able to do what? To understand them properly. I hope you can see that. So you can create such a beautiful widget. You can create maybe an album, you can create maybe a photo gallery, image gallery application, and implement such kind of things. So let us proceed. Right now we're going to see how you can do a widget like this one. Okay, so it's going to be the same, exactly the same, but here you just simply say they're going to be 2, and then here you put the user interface is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to have just an item in front of it. Okay, so since you're having a stack there, you can go ahead and do what, and display item in front of it by putting the image next to it. Okay, so all right, let's go ahead and create this one. It's just exactly the same knowledge, but this just to change in the user interface. Okay, let's look at something different. Let's do this, and then you'll challenge yourself by doing another one. Let's do this section, okay, because this one is just the same. This one with a single line is just exactly the same. All that you need is just to modify, for example here, is just to modify what you need to show here. And the grid adapter, you can just simply come here. So since you have stack here, you see you have stack. Okay, so bottom to it, or can come here, bottom to this one, you can put your text, and then display what you want to display. For example, I can say I display the object, which is a string, and then you'll see you have that. So if you pass style, you see you have that with a white color. So you can use positioned, and then you make it to be on bottom. You see it is now in bottom here. Okay, so I can say maybe max line should be 1, then I have it like that. So if you want to put a text, some content, something in between this text and the image, you can just simply put here container, and then give it a width of infinity, and then give it some height of maybe 50, give it some color of black, then you see have that container. So you can also make it positioned. And then give it bottom, say 0, so it will be at bottom. So aligned, I think. Can give it height as infinity. Let's see. So it's going to cover the image. Then you give it transparency with opacity of 0.2. Then you see you'll have that layout that is between them. I hope you can see that kind of layout between the image and the text. Hope you can see it. Okay, you see it. The image is there, and then there is another layout between them. Then you can go ahead and do what, and change this one maybe to bluish. See, you have something like that. I think black is better. Okay, so and then after you can come and maybe give this text some container padding, and then say maybe padding all of 8, so it can be there like that. Can be container, and give it margin, something like that. So you can design any kind of this basing on what I've just elaborated to you here. You can use stack. So here I used show you. So you just change the user interface. So here is a what? Align. Okay, so you put stack and then you put align, then you say align bottom, then to be able to align your content in bottom. So you see I have a stack of image on top, and then after the stack of image on top I have align bottom, which is going to be what? Which is going to be this eye that you see here. Okay, and then it's an icon. Then I have after align bottom, then I have the container, which is having that opacity, the background with opacity of this color, and then inside it there is a what? There is a text of this row that is having an icon and what. So by implementing this, you'll be able to achieve exactly what I want. So instead of doing this fresh tutorial for this, you can just challenge yourself and change the UI and do the UI that you need. So instead of putting position here, you can as well use what? You can as well use align. Let me remove this. You see? Then you just put align there. Then display this one as what? As a object. And give it maybe max line. See, you can put here maybe some text. So you see you're able to achieve that. So if you want to change the number of grids, you can just simply come here, instead of 3 you just simply put 2, and then you'll have something like that. Okay, so it's just changing the user interface, but the logic is exactly the same. So I'll let you challenge yourself. by going ahead and change the user interfaces. Okay, so I hope you see that. So you can also just challenge yourself by doing this. Okay, so once you get the concept, that means that you'll be able to do what? To do anything. Okay. All right. So see our time, having 9 minutes. Let's see if we can start the list. Or yeah, I think we can stop from there for today. Then the next lecture I can start and design these lists. Okay, and design these lists. Or we do them right now and we are done with them. All right, now let's start with the next lecture and you see how you can do this kind of list. You can drag and also can have multi-selection. All right, let's start with the next lecture with this one. So for this one, we'll stop it from here, and then you'll challenge yourself by doing the remaining thing that I've asked you to do, like modifying the grid, its user interface, and also maybe presenting it in a different way. So in the next lecture, we'll go ahead and start with the list and also look at different menus such as these ones. So make sure that you don't miss in the next lecture. For today, we'll stop from there. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be updated. Okay, unless there's a question or some remarks. But for today, we'll stop from there.